Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be making a fun summer card. We're officially in the summer season and I'm bringing in the Trailside Trio. This is from the summer camp collection and I have got the Splash Days. I'm going to use some pieces from it. I've got Trails End. I'm going to be using the sign from this, and then I'm going to be bringing in the stencil and we'll be stenciling up a panel. The stencil is called Lakeside Memories. And I've got the sentiments, which are called Summertime Sentiments. And we are going to make a quick little card here and just welcome in summertime. I love summer. That's my season. And I know I'm a few days late, but I thought it would be fun to do a summer card. So I've worked with this on my channel before, and I worked through all of the pieces that are included in the collection, and I love this set. This makes the most darling cards. And this stencil is fantastic. I have sped it up. I'm bringing in mowed lawn for my hills in the background, and for my pine trees, I'm bringing in pine needles and going on top of that. And we're just going to get some ink laid down on here. I sped this up tremendously just because it does take a while to stencil. And then we're going to bring in our next layer. Now for this layer, I'm keeping it super light, and I'm just going to bring in my blue blending brush, and whatever was left on there, excuse me, I got a little froggy, is what I'm using. And I think I probably had some Uncharted Marinara on there before, and I'm just really lightly putting down some color. Didn't want to get too heavy. And it's got that white area in the middle that looks like a path through the water. I don't know. And then I brought in some, what did I bring in? I just brought in my orange blending brush for the sun. And then I brought in this antique linen, thinking last time I used it, it was darker than what I wanted it, and then this time it was bright. So it wasn't what I wanted, but I'm going to bring in Vintage Photo and lay over it. And I laid down quite a bit of color, and this will finish it off. And we've got some variation of color there in the sand, and I think that's what you should have there on the sand or the dirt if this is a lake. I guess maybe this is more of a lake than the beach or whatever. But so now we're going to bring in our critters, and I'm going to work with the skunk and the raccoon. And we're just going to get them assembled, and we'll just get to going with the pieces on this. So there's a rounded rectangle piece that goes behind the heads so that you can add the color. And for the raccoon, I'm putting white behind it, and then I'm going to use some little black circles for the eyes. And then for my skunk, I'll reverse it. I'll use black behind the head and white for the head. Now this is the kind of the snout and the eyebrow area. We're just going to get it laid down on there. And the detail on these are super, super cute. And this is going to be my little gal. The gal is going to be the gray raccoon, and then the boy is going to be the skunk. And so these are the patches that go across over her eyes. And when I was looking at this, and I actually laid everything out in my tray, I actually laid those down first, and I should have laid them down first before the eyebrows, and then I wouldn't have to tuck. But I don't have it, it's not completely glued yet, so I can just nuzzle it in there like I need to and just kind of position it. And she really has a lot of detail on her face with 3 different colors of cardstock. It really makes for a fun looking raccoon. And so I've got the tiniest little piece here, and this is for the eyes, and it's just going to she's going to have mostly black with a little dot of white for the eyes. And then for my skunk, I'm going to go in the opposite direction and just have some different looking eyes. So I think it looks really nice. And then we've got 2 layered ears, and I've got fog cardstock, and then I've got a gray that I don't know what it is, a lighter gray. I don't know what that is. It's just something that was in my stash. I'm going to use it. And we'll just layer the insides of the ears on the back of the ears and get them positioned. And then we'll just tuck them behind her little head. Super fun detail. Very cute. So we'll do the other ear and get it taken care of. So today was a mixed bag of weather. Started off beautiful and sunny most of the day, and then about I'd say 1:30, 2 o'clock, the storm clouds rolled in, and then we had some big, not a lot, but big drops of rain. And then it started raining a little bit heavier, and then it stopped. Weston and I went out and looked for the rainbow. We didn't see the rainbow because it was sunny and raining, but we couldn't find the rainbow. But eventually it stopped, and so we had a kind of a mud puddle across our driveway, which is unusual. We don't normally have that. But the boys both went out there in their scooters and just splashed through that mud puddle, and were just giggling and laughing and having a blast. Their pants were soaked. And then Gunnar came in to go to the restroom, and I said, let's just put your swimsuit on. So I wound up putting the swimsuits on both of them, and they just had a ball splashing through that water in that driveway until their mom got here to get them. And then I came in to sit down to do this voiceover, and it was just pouring down rain, but it has stopped now and the sun's back out. So we've just got really a mixed bag of weather going on here today in Indiana. Pat was out on the mower, and he said he was just going to sit because he thought it was going to stop. He was going to sit in the truck and wait and see if he could finish the job that he was on. And so hopefully he is able to get that finished. And then I'm needing to get to the church to get the payroll and accounting done. And so I thought I'd just do this voiceover while that rain was coming down, and then I could head over to the church, hopefully not in the pouring rain, and get my work done there. So here I'm putting the decorative layers, kind of the stripes on the raccoon's tail, and getting those laid down on there, and that just adds additional interest. Now on my card, once I get her laid down, you won't be able to see much of her tail just because I have to position everything because I'm using an A2 size card, but it comes together super cute. So I'm just cleaning off a little bit of glue on there, and I'll just pick her up and just set her down on her towel. And she looks super cute. Now we are going to put her in her swimsuit because they are at the lake, I guess. And you won't see much of her, kind of her chest, her dark color of her chest, because we're going to lay the bathing suit right over it. But she's going to come together and look super cute. Just get it positioned on there. And then she's got a little ruffle or a little skirt on her bathing suit, so I'm going to get it laid down on there. And I think it's a nice added little touch to her. And then I'm going to put a little bow in her hair. And there is a bow for the swimsuit, and it's laying there, and I won't see it for a minute. And once I get to assembling the skunk, we'll add a couple more pieces to her. I don't have the noses cut out for them, and so I'll have to go off camera and cut them out and then bring them back in, but then we'll get her finished off. So she needs a nose and a bow. And I'm going to move right on to our skunk, and I use the black cardstock, Raven cardstock, for the rectangle for the back of the eyes, and then I'm going to use the white pieces for the insides of the eyes. Now I did that because I wasn't sure if I wanted black in back and white in front or what, and so I die cut both out, and then I wound up using different ones. But I think it works because I think the raccoon's eyes should be dark like that. And then we really needed his eyes to be white because he's got such a black face. So we needed, them to pop a little bit. So I think it worked out. So we'll just get those little pieces laid down in there. And then this is this kind of the snout and the forehead area. And we'll just get it positioned, and it will add some interest to our little skunk. This would be the stripe that runs all the way across his nose and down his back and on his tail. So we've got the little eye pieces that I'm going to put in there. Oh, this is her little nose. I guess I went off camera and I die cut the nose out for her, and then the nose out for the skunk, and also the nose for the fox. There are 3 different kinds of noses, and the fox has kind of got a little point nose. He has the smallest nose, then hers is medium, and then the skunk's is the largest. But we're going to get the little skunk's ears, and they're just a single piece. And you've got a nice little area that you can glue on there. I've got that upside down, so I'm going to flip it over and get the glue on the right spot. And then we'll get his ears attached. Now you might notice I finally got my fingernails done. And we went last night and went and got manis and petties and went out to dinner. And I got my 4th of July nails. So they're done and ready to go. We're ready for vacation. Now, you'll notice this and maybe another video will be all you'll see with my nails, because I have preloaded my content and I have several days of content that were already recorded, and then I'm just kind of backfilling now with this video here. I've got a couple of spots that I need to backfill with, so that's what I'm doing. But just trying to load my channel up so that you guys will have some content to watch while I'm vacationing and celebrating mine and my daughter's birthday and the holiday. So I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday and enjoys it. It's a big year for the United States with our 250th celebration. I told my daughters that I remember the bicentennial. I remember my grandpa being very young at my grandparents' house, and my grandpa telling me about it. So I guess I'm showing my age a little bit, but it is what it is. So we've got our little skunk. We've got his little arms on there. This is the little tail with a little decorative element. Just put a little dot of glue on there and we'll get the tail attached. I'm going to move it up just a little bit higher. I thought it was a little bit low there. And then just looking at her, getting her arm positioned over her bathing suit skirt there. And then he's got some little blue swim trunks, and I'm going to get those laid down on there. And then there is also a decorative element to these like a waistband, and it kind of has the debossed detail on there that looks like the cinching that you have on a pair of swimming trunks. And I did it in a little lighter color just to have some interest. And then I realized I didn't put her little bow on her bathing suit. Now you can put this kind of up underneath her chin if you want, or I've decided to nestle it kind of on her hip and just put the little bow there. And I think it's super cute. And I think we've got a sweet little couple here. They're ready to go to the lake. So I'm going to bring in the sign from the Trails End die set. And I'm going to do cabin, lake, and trails is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to position it to where my sign is pointing in the direction of the lake. However, I do kind of cover it up when I get my critters laid down on there. But we're going to do our die cutting. I'm going to do black for the back that will, the letters will show through and the letters will appear in black. So I need 3 of these because I'm doing cabins, lakes, lake, and trails. And we'll have 3 back pieces. And then I'm going to use that kind of alabaster cardstock that's laying up there and use these are the letters, and this has the arrow outline die for it, and we'll just do all 3 of these and get those die cut out and ready to go, and then we will be able to start pulling our card together. Just give it a good press. The Scout is just so handy for the video, just to be able to bring that little thing in and just run it. A lot of times I do most all of my die cutting off camera, but since I didn't have this prepared, I thought, well, we'll just drag it in because it's part of the process. And then I've got the post that the signs are going to hang on, and I'm just going to do brown on it. It's just some brown that I had in my stash. I don't even know what color it is, but we'll just line them up. Now the alabaster is going to be kind of stark for what I need, so we'll bring in some vintage photo and ink those up and just kind of dirty them up so they're not quite so stark, because these signs have been out there in the weather and they've gotten weathered. So I'm going to put the black on the back and just line them up, and it will make my my letters, my words pop so that you can be able to see them really well. We'll just get them lined up on there. And I had to think a minute to make sure that I had my lake laid down on the arrow in the right direction, because I want it to point toward the lake, and then I want the cabins and the trails to point away from the lake. So I took a minute and I thought about, which direction do I need to turn my arrow, and then which direction do I need to make sure I have my lake laying on there, so that I'm on and then I went the opposite with the other 2. Anyway, I'm just poking out all those little letters. And if you were fussy, you could keep those and you could spell things with them, but they're just too small. So I'll just throw them out. But they did die cut out pretty nice. So we've got our cabins. We're going to get it laid down on there. And then we're going to get our trails and get it laid down on there. I've had so much fun this in June making so many fun cards. I almost thought about making a video and just flipping through the cards that I've made just because there's been so many and it's been so fun. And then I was thinking I'd have to look and see, I'd probably have to look back at my videos to remind myself all of them. And I think probably some of the fun ones are actually gone because I've used them, so I might not have them all, but I certainly have a huge stash of some fantastic product from June. Spellbinders has really, between them and Hero Arts, just really cranked out some fantastic stuff. I've got some fun stuff coming up. That Hero Arts monthly kit that is coming up is phenomenal. I love it. So you'll have to be sure and watch for that video because the first die set I work with that is just fantastic. I loved it. Anyway, so just a little plug for some upcoming content that I think you might enjoy. And then, of course, I think I mentioned before, Spellbinders normally does Christmas in July, so we're going to have some of that so to look forward to. So I'm just kind of wonky laying my signs down on here, and this is kind of how we're going to position it. And then need to see how I'm going to get my characters on there. I'm going to put her up high and then him down low just so we can get everybody on there and kind of be able to see a good part of their design. And I'm going to bring in a card base and get this laid down on there. I'm not going to layer up or add a frame or anything like that. I'm just going to use the stencil and just let it do its thing. And it looks like I've got a wild hair there that's hanging out every once in a while in the video. Apologize for that. I think I combed my hair this morning. I get up really early and just kind of throw on some stuff and, put some lotion on my face and brush my hair and teeth and then go over to their house. And I kind of sneak in. My daughter's getting ready and then just kind of wait for them to wake up. And then they get up. And a lot of times I'll feed them there and then kind of give them time to wake up and get them dressed and then out of the house. Then we'll come to my house and then start running around town and doing everything. But this morning we got out early and I actually want to give them breakfast at my house. And we were on the go really early this morning. So anyway, we're enjoying the summer, getting out and just seeing the sights and getting that vitamin D and just enjoying the weather. And today, splashing in mud puddles. So, well, anyway, I went to lay my skunk down, and I was just kind of going to just lightly position it. It kind of held, and I had to pry it up and then get my little girl underneath there. And so we're just going to come back and tuck him in. I'm going to raise her up a little bit more so we can see. I wanted to see a little bit of detail from that tail, so I just pulled her up a little bit. And then we've got that. Now I'm going to bring in the stamp set. And I'm going to use Hello Summer. I took and stamped it and heat embossed it. And then I'm going to bring in that vintage photo brush and just rough it up a little bit, give it a little bit of shading as well because it was just too stark. And we're just going to welcome in summer. And that's what I'm doing here. That's why I wanted to do this card. You can see it's stamped on the back. I had to stamp a couple times before I got it how I wanted it. I was trying to just do it with an acrylic block. So we'll position that and hello, summer. Glad you're here. So here's a couple pictures, and I think that it's super cute. If you like, consider hitting that like, and if you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm almost to 4,000. So here's a couple more videos you might like. Thanks for watching.